another video. Moblicko here. So today, we are going to be making an NBA mock draft. I know it's mid-season, but who cares? March Madness wrapped up last week or so, and yeah, I'm just gonna let you know where I think everyone's gonna go. We're using the ESPN rankings. We're on a site, tradenba.com. It's pretty solid. We're just going to be doing one round. No really need to do two. We're going to start off. This is just the worst to just like current NBA standings. Timberwolves have the worst record in the league, so they go first, then Rockets, and then so on. I think with the first pick, the Timberwolves pick Cade. 6'8" point guard. I don't really know that there's anyone else you take there. And not have fans murder you. The Rockets, they're in a weird position where they're not really good, but they're awful, more like. But who can you take to really just be a core member of this team moving forward in this rebuild? And I think you're going to take the second best player on the board, Evan Mobley. He fell on my board at least, but I didn't fall on anyone else's. He didn't really score. My concern with him is he's not a scorer. He's not putting up points. You look at what he did in the tournament, and he scored like 15 points one game, and then it's like 8 and 10. I don't know if that can translate, but we'll keep going. The Detroit Pistons, with the third pick, I think they're going to take Jalen Green for the G League. Next up, the Magic. We're going to have a bit of a reach here, but it's the Magic, so it makes a little bit of sense, and it's going to be Franz Wagner. I think they're somehow going to love Franz Wagner because that just seems like a very Magic pick. And don't get me wrong, Franz is a really good player, but I don't know if I'd draft him that high. Next up, the Cleveland Cavaliers, young team, but they don't really need a guard. Aging big men, though, so I think they're going to go and take Jonathan Kuminga at the 6th overall spot. Next up is the Washington Wizards, and I'll be honest, they kind of already have two really good guards, so you kind of got to go somewhere else besides the guard position. They drafted Denny last year, so I don't think it's going to be a small forward. They're probably going to trade out of this pick, but we're not doing trades. I think they're going to go all the way down for Alperen Sengun from Turkey, 6'9" center, which is a little small, but still good, tall enough to get it done in the NBA. You see guys like Montrezl Harrell dropping 20 a night, only 6'7", so it's a different league now. Jalen Suggs is falling. I didn't even mean for this to happen. I really like Jalen Suggs as a prospect. But not enough to take him here, apparently. I'm going to go Scotty Barnes from Florida State to the Raptors. Next up is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Well, I'll be honest, but they kind of need a point guard. And to me, the best point guard available is Davion Mitchell, but they also need the power forward. I don't know why power forward in front of small forward. That seems a bit backwards. But so could you get Isaiah Jackson maybe? But you definitely can't get a center. The top guy is Charles Bassey. This is way too early to take a guy like him. So I think it comes down between Isaiah Jackson and Davion Mitchell here. And I think Davion Mitchell is just a better player. So the Thunder will take Davion Mitchell. Now we're back to the Jazz, who have taken Franz Wagner, and it's about time for them to make another dumb pick. They have pretty good shooting guard in Markelle Fultz, pretty decent Power forward from Jonathan Isaac. Still too far down. Oh no. And copyright claim because I showed an ad. Oh, scary. So I think it comes down to needing a point guard and a small forward. And they're going to take the best small forward available, which is, well, they already took a small forward, actually, so they're going to take the best point guard available, which is Tre Mann, on second thought now. They're going to go ahead and pick the best player available, and that's Jalen Suggs. He's fallen way too far. Don't know why I kept making him fall farther, but it did. Moving on. Kings are going to need a big man. Isaiah Jackson, easy pick. I hope they trade Bagley. He needs a new team. They need to get it off of him. But yeah, he just needs a new team. Pelicans need a point guard, probably. I think Kai Jones, the guy here. Or not Kai Jones, Tre Mann, rather. I think they'll go with him to lead the way as they move into the coming seasons where hopefully they can contend for a title, because they really should be. The Pacers, not sure why it says so severe on their point guard needs. I guess maybe a backup guy that makes sense, actually. I think they're going to go ahead and go with James Bouknight from UConn. Pretty solid player. The Warriors, I really like this pick for them. I thought about this one a bit. I think they're going to take Corey Kispert out of Gonzaga, who just lost in the national championship. But I think Corey Kispert's player whose playing style really translates into the NBA. His shooting reminds me of maybe not quite Joe Harris, but has definitely potential to be that. And he's a lot more athletic than Joe, so he's got to be. He has a lot of potential, and I think he can fit in well in at least off the bench his first year, probably, and then they'll go from there, I'd assume. Spurs frick. They're pretty much, you just want to take the best player available here, it looks like. That's probably Keon Johnson. I know it says they don't really need a shooting guard, but who's in charge here? Now the Knicks at the 16th pick, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to go with Sharif Cooper from Auburn. I think this is a good pick for them. Yeah, the Celtics now. Let's see. Power forward and center. They need a big man. But they might be in need of a point guard after trading away Kemba Walker, possibly. But it doesn't appear that there's a top-level point guard. Possibly you'd say that guy's Jared Butler or maybe Max Evans. But I think they're going to go ahead and take the best big man available, and that would be, in my opinion, Usman Garuba, who I think is better than Kai Jones. Although Kai is a fantastic player. Next up is the Charlotte Hornets. Obviously don't need a point guard. They've got Melo. Don't need a shooting guard either. I mean, Melo, Rozier, they're good at guard. So they're decent at power forward. They've got Hayward locked up. I don't think they're moving off him. So they're going to take the best big man available as well at this point, which is none other than Kai Jones. Jalen Johnson has fallen. I kind of feel bad for the dude. Just not a lot of need for him. Grizzlies need a shooting guard. That's pretty apparent. I think they're going to go with the guy who I think is... I would say Ayo Dosunmu is probably the best shooting guard on the gear so right now. But I don't know if his play style and Jaws matches up very well, but I do think Cameron Thomas and Ja Morant's play style matches up quite fine. So we'll go ahead and go with that. Um, and you may notice it appears the Hawks need a center, but that's kind of a them problem. So I think they don't really. I'm not too worried about it. I think you draft the best player available if you're this kind of deep team. That's Jalen Johnson. So he's finally going to go. Fell all the way down to 20. Not even really deserving of doing so, just lack of need for him, really. Now we have the Thunder, who already selected Davion Mitchell. So they don't really need a shooting guard, which is not ideal. If you look at the draft board right now, the top 5 prospects are all shooting guards. Best player that's not a shooting guard is a center. That's Charles Bassey. I think that's just where Charles Bassey go ahead and suits up for the Thunder. Next up's the Knicks, who took a point guard first. I think they're going to take a small forward. I think they're going to go ahead and go with Moses Moody. Now the Rockets, another first round pick. They took Evan Mobley with the first. So I think if you're a rebuilding team like this, you'd have quite a wide little arc to draw on. Your only real players that you are going to want to keep long term, or at least plan on it, are Christian Wood and Evan Mobley, because you just drafted him, and I think they really like Christian Wood, and understandably so. He's a really good player. So you want to draft someone who's not a point guard, or who is a point guard, shooting guard, small forward. So you're just going to want to take the best player available, not necessarily somebody who fits your system, because you have a wide system to draw on. I think that's Ayo Dosunmu. Lakers are up. Okay. Says they need a center. I don't really think so. I think guard play is definitely the biggest problem right now. I think they're going to draft the best point guard available. Jared Butler, he's going to come in. He's going to be the D. Schroeder replacement here. Next up is the Denver Nuggets, who will be drafting Marcus Bagley. They can deal with their consequences. The Clippers, maybe Kawhi's leaving. He's probably not. But I think especially with a team like them, you might be seeing Serge Ibaka leaving, and you probably want to take a center. But then if we get a center, do you really want to reach on Day'Ron Sharpe, or would you rather wait and try and see if you can get someone else? But then if you go to point guard, there's not a whole lot of options that I really like, except for Max Abmas, who I think really proved himself during the tournament, and I think would be a fantastic pick for this team. Rockets are up again. They're going to take the best player available. That's not a shooting guard. That's Jaden Springer, it looks like. So Jaden Springer heading to Houston. The 76ers need a power forward and don't care about anything else, which is pretty... I wouldn't really say you need a power forward. I'd say small forward would be a more ideal. I think Josh Giddey is definitely a guy that can switch between those. I think this is where he finally goes. I know he's dropped a bit. Not that much. The Nets here for the 29th pick. I think you want to try and grab a big guy. Obviously, why is Kevin Durant listed as a shooting guard? Kevin Durant is listed. Okay, I'm not even gonna ask. You want to get a big guy here. I think that's Greg Brown. Best big guy available, in my opinion. In ESPN's opinion as well. Now for the Suns pick, this will be the 29th pick, second to last. Chris Paul's got a contract option. I think it's pretty safe to say he's gonna stay in his contract. I think they're gonna head and take a flip. No, they're not gonna take a power forward. They have way too many power forwards. But I do think they're gonna probably take the best player available. Who is Zaire Williams? Who knows? And now the final pick, the Utah Jazz, who will also be taking the best player available. That's not a shooting guard, and that is Flip Pertuve, I think his name is. So yeah, that's my NBA mock drafts. If you look through, does it just give grades? No, that's just the Pro Football Focus thing. Okay. I think players I'm most excited about that maybe slipped a bit is mostly just the guys that did really good in the tournament, or I've watched a lot, like Max Abnus, Moses Moody, Ayo Dosunmu, Usman Garuba, Corey Kispert, James Knight. Jalen Suggs, I'm not really sure why he slipped, but he did. I think the Magic could have probably drafted those two backwards. But let me know what you think of my mock draft. This is probably dumb, I'll be honest. I don't know crap all what I'm talking about, but leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Follow me on Twitter at MyBoyCal, and